Praise the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Get you some of that, collective. Yo, Jesus is our high priestess. Holy moly. Anyway, I'm about to do something that I can't believe I'm about to do. I'm about to tell you guys something about Moses and Jesus. When it first came to me, Moses was the man. He got me through the worst times, got me through addiction. I realized I was a Moses type character when it came to my reluctance to letting God and Jesus into my life. But Jesus is the high priest, but I gotta say something. Moses made Israel into a nation, right? He led them out of slavery from Egypt and through the desert. He gave them God's law and their forms of worship. No one was more revered by the Jews than Moses was. But he can never be more than God's faithful servant. Jesus is God's son. Holy cow. How powerful is Jesus then? How many people were in Egypt? How many years did they spend in the desert? The transfiguration from the burning bush. I mean, we could keep going. But now, since the children have flesh and blood, now that you have been born into this world with flesh and blood, he too shared the humanity so that by his death, he might destroy the one who holds death over you, the one who has the power over death in your life. Now he has it because he died to it as a human. The power of death, that is the devil. He died to beat the devil because now he is death. And if devil's death, but he's no holy righteous, who's greater then? Just like me, just like duality, I have mastered and I operate out of both dark and light, feminine and masculine. Can you imagine? I Googled it last night, and it's funny how many people are now about duality when no one was talking about it before I got on the scene. There's a very small percentage, and once again, it goes against your natural desire to actually live out of both. We're not supposed to. Let's find our spiritual gifts and hone in on those. But since I'm out here putting myself out there, I did a whole reading yesterday about my natal chart and I put down what the collective is. Can you imagine a Taurus sun and moon and your rising being in Cancer? Holy cow, this is one mix of cosmic alignment. And that is what you are too. Okay? But he had to beat the devil for him to be able to even use you the way you were meant to be used. For surely it is not the angels he helps, it's you, the descendant of Abraham. For this reason, he had to be made like his brothers in every way, so that he might become a merciful and faithful high priest in service to God, in order to make atonement for the sins of the people, because he himself suffered when he was tempted. I should get the temperance card out. He is able to help those who are being tempted because he was once tempted before. When I'm on my journey and I begin to recognize that I'm going into a season where I'm going to face some battles, you kind of see that battle for what it is and you realize that God's gotten me through something much harder, much more difficult, more complicated. So when we're looking at the next trial coming up in our life, we're like, I got that. God's got that. You sure you even want to go here? Because he's already got it. And he's given it to me through my high priestess subconscious intuition. I was all day yesterday walking around like it was a holiday on 88 Line Gate. And everyone was just like in their normal day. I'm like, you guys don't understand? But that's to each their own, and that's the position of where my heart is. Where are you at today? How's your soil? Jesus, our apostle and high priest. Therefore, holy brothers who share in the heavenly calling, set your focus on Jesus, the apostle and high priest, whom we confess. He was faithful to the one who appointed him, just as Moses was faithful in all God's house. For Jesus has been counted worthy of greater glory than Moses. Thank you, Moses, but you probably shouldn't have struck that rock twice, and you would have been able to make it to the promised land. I would have struck the rock probably too. Do you know how annoyed Moses was getting at listening to the grumbling and the cries of everyone? He was sitting there with some sort of empathy. But once people started running their mouths and yakking their gums is the moment he would start to send them to Babylon. They're just babbling. Guess what? The United States of America no longer serves Babylon. We are no longer on maritime law. You know that this whole Bible, maritime, and everything else is the sea rules? I have a book called The Mediterranean Sea Rules. Let's talk about it. Let's get real. What is this book? What is this Bible really doing? What was really happening? If you had one big body of water and all these cities surrounding it, why did all the books and the chapters go from here to there to there to here to here to there? If that is what was happening, how much time did they actually spend on land versus how much time they spent on water, in ships, on dealing with pirates, this and that? These are all maritime sea rules. These were the rules that you followed when you were traveling with strangers, with Jews and Gentiles alike, going to the same place together. Hebrews, now we're going to start bringing the Greek Septuagint in. But listen very carefully when I say that. How many times did we talk about the Ark of the Covenant in this Bible? That's the whole gist of the whole story. The whole reason that they traveled to and fro and here and there and there and here is because they were chasing us after the Ark of the Covenant, because that was the power. And Moses had the power. The power from the staff to freaking call down storms, to separate seas. Humans were doing this, and the Ark of the Covenant still today, where is it? I'll let you figure that out. But I think the pyramids might have something to do with it. Where I'm getting at, though, is don't get me all messed up trying to make me think that this book was meant for building nations and keys to nations like God is giving me. This is great, and this is good. And holy cow, I think Hebrews might be one of the books that I would want to teach to the public the most. Romans was heavy, but that was more for me in my way of living in life. So either way, I think I just gave up a little secret. But when it comes to our high priestess, Moses was now faithful as a servant in all God's house. He respected. He understood. He even said, I didn't want my calling in the promise in the first place. But Christ is faithful as the son over God's house. And we are his house. If we hold firmly to our confidence in the hope of which we boast, our house will not be toppled. Our house will be blessed. It will be sanctified. It will be atoned for. We will have the blood of Christ. Which heals snake bites. Jesus got bit by a snake. Everybody was waiting for him to die. He was still awake, walking around the next morning like, what's up, guys? Ready to get this? I love you, collective. Can't wait to see y'all again.